Hello everyone. Now we will discuss about Taylor's scientific management. What do you mean by Taylor's scientific management, as in why it is called as scientific management? My dear friends, there is a one famous management leader, management consultant, management writer, management book writer, as well as mechanical engineer, a person who is known as Frederick Winslow Taylor, F.W. Taylor. He gives you some kind of rules, some kind of principles which should be applicable at all the organization, which can be managed at all the organizations. It is universally applicable to every organization, that you can follow his rules and guidelines as well as his principles. He is the person who introduced a piece wage rate system in your factory as well as organization. Piece wage rate system, what do you mean by piece wage rate system? That whatever the pieces you made, however the pieces you made, you will be rewarded as per the piece basis. As in, if you had made 5 pieces, then you will give rupees 5. For example, if you had made 10 pieces, then you will be give rupees 10. As in, your earnings and your rewards is directly connected with the pieces or targets you had achieved. It all observed and managed and created as well as implemented by F.W. Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor. He is generally the person uses his techniques in his company where he is working as a manager. He is using his techniques that how I can motivate my employees, how I can help them to achieve the targets, how I can order or how I can set the principles from where I can achieve the targets. So here we can understand what is the Taylor scientific management as well as who is Taylor and why its relevance in our course as well as management course. F.W. Taylor was an American mechanical engineer who believed in analyzing the work scientifically and finds one best way to do any work. Means he know how to serve any organization, how to ask any employer, how to manipulate him or her so that he can do all kind of work whatever the organization wants. Taylor's contribution must be seen in the light of the efforts made to perfect the factory system of production. Generally, before Taylor, all the factories or all the organizations are very confused that how we can reward our employees, how we can reward our workers, how we can give them motivation, how we can support them, or how we can analyze that they can do a good work. When Taylor came in the industry market, in organization, he produces different experiments, different principles during whole of his career. He also discussed some various principles regarding his principles of scientific management, like these are the principles that should be applicable at each and every organization if they want to be managed in a good way as well as achieve their targets in an efficient and effective manner. He is most remembered for his time and motion studies. He had given us a time and motion studies, that is, as I said, whatever the time you require to take to build a product, to make a product or to make a piece of unit, that particular time shows how much you will get rewarded for that particular product or time you had given to us. Next is, he also wrote a book which is known as Principles of Scientific Management, which was published in 1911. In this book, he also wrote discussions about what kind of principles we can make, what kind of efforts we can try, what are the rules and regulations that are generally applicable to the organization. He was originally employed to the introduced piece wage system. Yeah, we had already discussed that piece wage system is originally employed or introduced by F.W. Taylor. He is also known as father of scientific management. My dear friends, you need to learn this word, that he is also known as father of scientific management. This can be asked in your MCQs as well as it can be a short form answer also, that who is F.W. Taylor and what does its basic performance is, what are its ideas. It all come under your MCQs as well as short term answers and questions. Okay, so F.W. Taylor gives you the scientific principles, scientific rules and regulations that can be applicable to each and every organization, each and every individual person, so that their organization will go forward, as well as they can move into the efficient and effective manner. They can achieve their targets in an effective manner. Now, what are the principles are set by F.W. Taylor? Frederick Winslow Taylor's principle. Let's discuss the principles of F.W. Taylor as well as principles of scientific management. Now, here we discuss that Taylor is already decided that some kind of stuff that should be applicable at all the organization. I need to observe some people, some individuals, some employees, so that I need to know about what kind of work performed by them, what kind of policies are set by them, what kind of issues are facing by an organization. Then only he realized what kind of principles or what kind of solutions he can give to the organization. Now, Taylor broke up human activities into small parts and found out how it could be done effectively in less time and with the increased productivity. Yes, let's take example before understanding this. Whenever we try to learn any concept, whenever we try to follow our study plan, then what we do, there are two options. Either we do the whole complete chapter at a one slot, single slot. We can do the complete chapter in a single slot, sitting for example 4 to 6 hours and then complete a single chapter. But many students what will do, that they will divide their chapter into a pieces or topics, different topics, that first learn this topic, then take rest, then learn this topic, then take rest, then do some this thing. Same thing was done by F.W. Taylor also in his scientific management rules, as in he applied that all the production, all the resources is not to be distributed at a wholly to the one place. It should be allocated at different persons at different levels. It should be allocated at, it should be a segregation of duties. All duties should be segregated, as well as all the work is to be distributed in some persons, some timing, some resources, etc. According to Taylor, scientific management means knowing exactly what you want men to do and seeing that they do it in the best way and cheapest way. As Taylor wants that whatever the principles, goals and as well as guidelines you are following, and whatever you want that your employee is able to do, then you have to check whether they are doing the same task or not. For example, an employee is working in your organization and you had given him some goals, guidelines, rules and regulations that you have to do some this kind of policies, as well as you have to follow this kind of stuff. It all means about that whether you need to understand his or her guidelines, his or her motivational skills are there or not. There also you need to decide whether he or she is able to do our work or not, as well as you need to check that such particular person was doing his job at the minimum cost or not, he is doing his best or not. You have to observe all such things so that you can find out some issues, whatever the issues are coming, whatever the solutions are coming, it all to be discussed. As well as Taylor also wants that whatever the person doing the job, you must assure that all the tasks should be completed at given time, that is your effective manner, as well as at minimum cost, that is in an efficient manner. Okay. Now, F.W. Taylor gave us only 4 principles. My dear friends, you had to remember these principles, all kind of principles. Only 4 principles are there for F.W. Taylor scientific management. These principles dealt with the all general organizations, all applicable to all organizations, management, stuff, etc. First one is that science and not the rule of thumb. There is a two different things. Science is a different from rule of thumb. Generally what we think is all about that science is same as rule of thumb. No, my dear. Science is, yes, science experiences or science experiments are totally based on the rule of thumb, or its universal applicability is based on rule of thumb. But my dear friends, science is not only the rule of thumb only. It is also based on the decisions, also based on the experiences, as well as experiments made on that particular decision, particular rule. It should be followed to the organization as well as to the all the individuals. Like whatever the rules and regulations are formulated by you need to do cross check whether these strategies are working properly or not, or I had to change my strategies, I had to change my targets, achievements, or I had to set target as well as achieve. I need to change policies. What kind of policies I can decide? How do I decide, or how I can take a decision making? It all depends upon your work, how you can follow your policies and rules and regulations. This implies developing one standard method through work study, unifying the best practices globally, which would result in optimum resource utilization. Yes, my dear friends, as in science is not rule of thumb, what here we can understand that all kind of managers need to experience this, that whether their experiments are completed or succeeded in organization, or they need to change their experiments, they need to change their strategies. This all belongs to each and every manager of the organization. Next, harmony not discord. What does that mean, harmony not discord? It simply means that in case of organizations, management and workers are to be settled, are to be coordinated in such a manner like they don't have to discuss, or they don't have to be fight against each other. They have to understand that both require both of us. As in, management can't rely that they can do any work without worker or employees, as well as workers or employees also have to be sure that they can't do any work or anything without their superiors. So they both have a common mindset that they both have to coordinate it with each other, transform each other, discuss each other, that whatever the work should be done is to be done by both of us, management as well as workers equally. We need to do the work only at the point of workers only, only based on the workers only, yeah, or only based on the management only. We need to be focused as well as working with the coordinated staff, that is how many management as well as workers are coordinated and doing their businesses, their organization's objectives on an effective manner. Implies that there should be a mental revolution on part of managers, workers and owners to respect each other's role and eliminate any class conflict to realize organizational objectives, to respect each other's role, as in management also respect about workers' role and vice versa. Like management share the gains of the company, and workers should work hard and be willing to embrace change for the good of the company. Okay, I give you an example. In case of Japanese company, you know what is the difference between an Indian company as well as Japanese companies? In case of Indian company, whenever workers or laborers want to go to strike, they do stop production, they can't do the production, as well as they can't produce any goods, they can't do any work, their totally time became the idle time for the factory. This is not the best solution to work, as in go to strike, lockouts or something like that, or to tell you something. But in case of Japanese companies, if they want to show their strike, their gratitude of strike, then what they do, they'll come at office, no doubt in that, they put black badges on their hand or black badges on their dress, so that they will show that they are against the organizational policies, rules and regulations. Apart from that badges, they also work twice or double as compared to normal days, just to show their gratitude that we also want this organization to grow. But you need to focus, as in you means organization need to focus that we staff, we workers also has to grow. See, lots the difference. In case of Indian factory, Indian companies, the workers are sitting idle, they are don't doing any work, they don't have any work, they are sitting idle, just doing the strike. But in case of Japanese companies, they are doing more production with the silence badges only. That's the difference, because all the Japanese companies follow harmony not discord principle also. Okay, next, cooperation not individualism. Yeah, this is just the extent of previous rule, that is harmony not discord. Management and workers need to be cooperate with each other. They can't think like that all the work can be done by me, all the work can be done by you. This is not the attitude. You have to be cooperate with your management as well as your workers too. You need to be discussed, you need to be share your ideas, whether we are planning for this, are you comfortable with this? Let's take an example to understand this point. Suppose there is an organization A and organization B. Okay, in case of organization a management decide that you need to do some kind of work, you need to do a sales, you need to do a purchase, you need to do a marketing or something like that. These all steps done by management as well as controlled by management. Okay. Now in case of organization B, they are going through the some same kind of level, manager as well as lower level and middle management team. Now what they decided, that before setting any policies or plans, they set up a board meeting or set up a meetings, I can say, where they sit all employees, they allow all employees to give suggestions, to give some extra benefits, to give some extra feedback. Now what they decided in meeting, that some of the suggestions are very rare and very good, that can't be thinkable or that can't be observed by management team. And also they also observed that some suggestions are useless, some suggestions are beneficial to competitors, some suggestions are beneficial to us. So what is this happen, that this organization is interacted with their employees, they all deal with the ideas. Now what you extra do in that you will give reward to your best suggestions, best awards, best promotions, as well as you can appreciate the person who is suggested you the best things, as well as whenever you applied their suggestions on your company's decisions, then your work is approximately double. How? In first case, organization A, you are forcing someone to do your work, but in case of organization B, you are not forcing someone, you are involving someone to do your work. There is a lot of difference between forcing and involving. So my dear friends, we need to understand this topic, that in case of every organization, we need to discuss all the ideas and policies with our organizational members and employees, so that they will be involved and interacted with the organizational goals. They feel that organization goal is very far, as well as this goal can be helpful to their achievable in personal goals also. It is an extension of the principle of harmony, not discord, whereby constructive suggestions of workers should be adopted and they should not go on strike, as both management and workers share responsibility and perform together. In fact, there should be a complete cooperation between the labor and the management instead of individualism. There should be a complete coordination between all kind of employees, all kind of workers, all kind of level of management, as well as management and workers too, so that they took a good part and gave you best suggestion, they give it their best try, so that they can achieve the target in an easy manner. Last but not least, development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. Now in this principle, what Taylor said, that whatever the employee or whatever the worker or whatever the job profile you have, you must be trained or developed, or as well as providing knowledge in each and every aspect. Let's take an example to discuss this. Suppose there are two organizations again, organization A and organization B. In case of organization A, they hired a manager without any skills, without any experiences, without any knowledge or without any qualification, and he is managing their company. But in case of organization B, they hired another manager who is having a skill or qualifications, like he is qualified from MBA from IIMs, or else he will be a best experienced person. He is not qualified, but he is an experience of 25 years. Then what kind of all this stuff? Which company will grow more and more? Second one, yeah. How? Because in case of first company, manager don't have any experiences, but in case of second company, management or manager has an experience, as well as having a personal knowledge, having a personal training skills, getting a qualification of management. He learned all these things. Another example we can take, suppose both organizations hired an employee, some different organizations, both are IIM qualified managers, both have IIM qualified managers. Then after, whenever they are training themselves, as in they providing training to understand the software, the working of an organization, both need to learn how to work, how to do effectively work, how to find loopholes, how to do your best in your organizational goals. So let's read this, which implies development of competencies of all persons of an organization after their scientific selection and assigning work suited to their temperament and abilities. Means in case of any organizational objectives, all managers need to develop their skills, knowledge. They have to understand what the policies can be framed, what are the future circumstances can become, how we can change, or what are my past experiences told me that we can't able to survive in the market, we need to change our policies. It all develops your technical skills, it develops your knowledgeable skills, it all develops your experiences, as well as it all discussed about what the management is learning about from each and every person, each and every experiences. So that Taylor wants that management should do a step that all their workers and employees should get proper training, proper knowledge, as well as proper scope of development. Okay, so let's revise our 4 principles of management, that is principles of scientific management given by F.W. Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor. First one was science, not rule of thumb. Here, science and not the rule of thumb, where we discussed that principles are generally based on science, that is on experiments, not on the generally rule of thumb or universally applicable. But yes, when it become a principle, it should be applicable to everyone. Second was harmony, not discord, that management and workers should be cooperate, as well as they must be coordinated at each and every time of aspect, or every time of decision, every time of policy also. Next was cooperation, not individualism. Here we discussed that management and workers need to be cooperated. They don't to be survive like only we can do the best, or only you can do the best, or this purpose, this work is done by only by you only. So in this field we also decide that management need to cooperate their ideas, their terminologies with management, workers, team members and employees also. Last but not least, development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency. What does that mean? That you need to provide, manager need to provide all kind of technical skills, knowledgeable skills, development skills, education, requirement, knowledge, all kind of stuff to their members, team members, colleagues, employees, seniors, etc. It all depends upon knowledgeable employees better than an unemployed employee. Okay, thank you very much.